Pitch Grounders, we are live with Curious Karen. You know what? I would like to introduce myself because it's been a long time since I've actually done a webinar. My name is Vinank and I'm a marketer. And as a marketer, what I want to do is I want to get into my customers' minds, want to know how they think, build a nice persona, and also want to know what they want from a company like us if we are selling any products or services, isn't it? So, as a marketer, I want to know what my customer is thinking. And the best way to do that is not by me, myself thinking in the boardroom or the white room. I just want to ask the customer directly what he wants, right? Because that's the most easiest way rather than me assuming what the customer wants. And how do I do that? I do that by sending him a feedback form. Isn't it? It's really simple. I send him a feedback form, and what happens is that the customer fills the feedback form, or some customers really don't fill the feedback form. And when it's time to capture such important, customers' thought process, would you use something like Google Forms, which is really old now? I know Google Forms is tried and tested, but it's really old. And customers immediately know when they see a Google form, they're really like, oh my God, it's going to be a lengthy survey, isn't it? You as a customer, if a brand gives you a form, I want you to imagine what you will be going through. It's just hectic. Because the problem with Google Forms is that it's just one way communication. It's too formal. It's just one way communication. But what if this the feedback process became a two-way communication, a two-way street where we are chatting and getting the customer feedback? How about that? I mean, you'll be like, Minang, how is that even possible? I mean, I have to send feedback forms to thousands and lakhs of people. That many customers I do have. But today it's made possible with Curious Karen. And we are live with Curious Karen, which is a software that we launched on PitchGround as a lifetime deal. And right now, if you can grab it, it's an early bird deal. You can see the ticker below what I'm talking. Also about this video where you can check out the lifetime deal. But in this video, in this webinar, I will show you how Curious Karen works. I'll show you Curious Karen live in action. And for today's webinar, I've invited the founder of Curious Karen as well. So we have 5 people joining in from our Facebook page. So let's wait for more people. And by then, let's do a 30-second pre-roll. That's right. 3, 2, 1, and we are back with Curious Karen, a tool that makes surveys interactive, a tool that can get you more customer replies, a tool that can exactly know what your customer is wanting because they're going to fill your surveys. Because surveys has been boring. The word survey itself is boring. Let's make it interesting with Curious Karen. We have the founder of Curious Karen joining with us. His name is Felipe. Hi, Felipe. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Fantastic this side. And I'm glad we are doing this webinar where we're going to talk everything there is to know about Curious Karen and how to improve conversions in surveys.
Yeah, great.
Absolutely. So before we proceed further, can you tell the audience where you're from and how big is the team, about you, about your company, how did you get this idea, etc.?
Yeah. So my name is Felipe. So I'm originally from Brazil, but I've lived in Montreal, Canada for 12 years now. So we are based in Canada. So we are a small team of 3. So me and 2 friends. And the idea for Curious Karen came about. So I've been actually doing a previous project of mine. A company was a survey application based on Twitter back 10 years ago. So I've been kind of dabbling into this survey feedback environment for a long time. So and the idea came about from an evolution of that, a transition from that into making, as you were saying, transform the form-based regular survey into like a more of a chatbot-like or chatbot style conversational survey. So that's the idea of it.
Oh, got it. And this is really interesting because form-based surveys, I know as a customer myself of many products that I buy, whenever they send me a survey, it just goes long, it tends to get boring, and I
Yeah.
can't wait to try out Curious Karen in action. I've actually tried it out long back when we were signing the deal, and it was amazing. I was
Yeah,
like,
and that's the thing.
wow, can
Yeah, that's the
surveys
thing.
be
So
done like this?
surveys is like very important, as you were saying. Like it's very important to get feedback from your customers or from your users, from everybody. It's something that you want to do, but on the other side is also can be very boring for the user. So the trick is figure out how can you get enough feedback from people without boring them to death, right? So and there is different strategies, even with regular form surveys. Depending on what you're doing, what you're asking, not to ask too long and too many questions and too much descriptive. So there's lots of strategy and things, but with the conversational style, so it's different. So it's not really like a chat bot, right? So it's so you have to create the questions, and I can show you the demo. I'll show the demo later, right? So you create the questions, set everything up. But as a user, when you're actually taking the survey, you kind of have that feeling of, oh, you want to see what's the next question, how that's going to evolve. So it's almost like you're having a conversation. The kind of feeling that you don't have when you answer a survey, a form survey, right? You kind of see all of them, and you're like, oh, okay, I just have to get through these. Right, so it has that dual thing, and that's the idea with it. How can you create that kind of survey that the user will feel like that way, and then by doing that, you're getting what you actually need, the feedback, right, which is very important.
That's interesting. And absolutely, I think that's the science behind it. And we're going to watch this in demo, which will be in this webinar, guys. But we have prepared a presentation for you today. And if you're watching this video, tell us where are you joining in from? I'm joining in from India. Felipe is from Montreal. Where are you joining in from? Tell us in the comment section down below. So we are getting comments. People are joining in from India. Hi. If you're joining in from India, good evening. If you're joining in from the US, then good morning, because it's around 10 a.m. at your time. And yep, it's awesome. So, Felipe, before you share your screen and get on with the presentation, we're already 8 minutes in. Why don't we show the video that we've prepared? How and explain Curious Karen in 2 minutes, and then you can get on with the presentation.
Sure.
Yes.
What do your customer think of your business? You would run a survey. But in fact, usually people are reluctant to spend even a few minutes to fill out a survey. Unless you offer them a super quick and well-designed survey so people will feel that you do care of them. Say hi to Curious Karen. Surveys that your customer will actually want to answer. This amazing app helps you to create nice and simple surveys literally in minutes. You start with a template. Surely you can change it. No special technical skills are needed, there's no rocket science here. The interface is so intuitive. Just start building your survey and you'll learn your way around pretty fast. You have different types of questions like multi-choice, yes or no, option scale, and so on. Curious Karen has an amazing feature to it. You can set up the logic of the whole survey. It works just like a mind map, so you can see the structure. Say if the answer is no, you can say, okay, thank you for your time. If the answer is yes, then you ask your next question. Another cool thing about Curious Karen is that small talk feature. These little cues after each answer help you to make it even more human-like, so your customer won't feel they talk to a robot. Tweak a design a little bit, add your avatar and logo, run a test just to make sure everything works fine, and publish it. There you go! Now you're ready to share it. All you have to do is just collect the results and make your business decisions. What else you can do with Curious Karen is create Net Promoter Score surveys just with few clicks. NPS is just a simple customer satisfaction survey to figure out how likely you are to recommend a service or a product to your friends or family. Just tweak it a little bit and you are ready to go. Finally, a survey that your customer would love. Build beautiful interactive survey in no time with Curious Karen. Get your lifetime deal now at pitchground.com.
Well, that was Val in a 2-minute presentation showing everything about Curious Karen. And I love the way you've positioned the name. You've made the options like small talk. I'm like, wow, this is exactly like how Karen would do in real life. Wow, this is interesting. So we have already one question coming in who's from Cali. She's from Singapore. And can it be used with existing chatbot solutions? Is her question.
No, so it's actually built separately. So there's as far as integration, we're still working on Zapier integration and looking into all the integration with Mailchimp or any email applications. So at the moment, all you can do is you can download the results in CSV and then kind of import that to something else or use to do something else with the data. Or we have a limited API that if people need, and can be tweaked a little bit also to if people need that. But a lot of that integration is still in the AirWorks.
All right.
But now
So
with other chatbot solutions.
Interesting. So if Callie wants to get a feedback from someone, she just has to send the link to them manually or via email or something, and they can reply to it.
Yeah, so it works as a link that you can share anywhere, and then when people click, it opens up the conversation, right? So the conversation is not really, it's not a live conversation, right? So it's all, it gives that impression of that you answering. It's a basically that's the thing. That's why there's a little distinction of a chatbot and the conversational survey. So it's in essence it's a survey. The interface is different, right? It's a chatbot-like, and the idea is with the combination of conditional logic, small talk, that to try to make it as interesting as possible, so you can get more conversion.
Yes, Kelly. So integrations are in the works, but it just works like Google Forms. You just have to send the link to your customer via email or via messenger marketing or via your bot. It can be any way you can send that link to your customer, and your customer can fill in the survey. And that's how it works. It's not like a regular chat bot that sits on your website. No, it's a survey. We're going to prepare a sample survey. I'm going to show you that too. But yes, stay tuned for that. So Felipe, why don't you get started with the presentation?
All right, so let me share my screen. Oh.
We have this effect. It just goes to infinity. Wow, infinity of my cells are shaking over there.
So if I switch, can you see this side?
Yes, I can totally see it, could totally hear it. Okay. You won't be able to see me, but yes, it'll be totally fine.
Yeah. Okay. So I can.
I'll be there. So don't worry. Yeah.
All right. So I'll do this on this side here. So what I did was, I just prepared like a very quick presentation, just a quick introduction, which a lot you've kind of talked. But so just to give a very quick background about myself. Again, so I started I've worked on several projects, several startups, several companies. So my first startup was in 2003, was web analytics, iStats, when I was in college. Then I worked a few years later in a Yowtrip, was a social network for travelers. Then in 2009, I did a bunch of Twitter-based applications, which TweetPoll was one of them, the survey, which was the one that kind of evolved into Curious Karen. And then there was events, coupons, contests, several Twitter-based applications. Then I took a little bit of I changed a little bit of what I was working on. So first of all, I went traveling for a few years. So I was kind of always on the road and working remotely, but mainly traveling. And they ended up like starting a nonprofit in Turkey to help to work with the Syrian families that were living in Turkey. And so there was a nonprofit, and that's where I met my partners now. And so I ended up living there for a couple of years, and we were doing the project for 4 years now. So there was different things. And when I came back here to Canada, I did a Untask is a project manager application, and then last year I started Curious Karen. So just to give like a quick like of the evolution of the past 10 or so years of like working on different projects and different things. So it's so that's how it is. So this is kind of the team. So so myself, Austra, and Montase. So there were 2 volunteers in Turkey that I met there. Now they're here. So let me just jump into Curious Karen a little bit. So in a lot of this you've seen like in the video. So that I've talked, right. So primarily it's a survey application using chatbot like in conversational as the interface. So there is a standard type of questions adapt to the conversation survey, conversation style, right? So this is kind of like the question, and once I go into the demo, I'll kind of each one has specific little features, specific like details that you can configurations and whatnot. So this is kind of like a comparison here, like what you would do like on the left side, like a regular form survey, and you convert that into a chatbot. So you see a question at a time with different answers, and then so as I was saying, like as you answering it, you kind of want to see what's coming next, right? And what what the next questions and follow up and whatnot. So and then with conditional logic, it can be very specific, right? So no more you get one of those kind of questions like, oh, if you didn't answer that, you can skip that or whatnot, right? So it automatically does a lot of that logic. And so this is achieved with this combination of the small talk and conditional logic, right? So that part circular there will be like the small talk is if you answer yes, right? And then the conditional logic is also depending on the answer you give, then you get redirected to a different set of questions. So when you kind of combine a lot of this stuff, of course, all that is up to whoever is creating the survey, right? So you almost kind of have to plan a little bit before. So here are some other features. So you can of course embed the surveys to your website, either the questions or the answers. You get email notifications when you get different responses, or you get like a one a day. Kind of combine like all the kind of like a digest of all the responses you get. You can also pass values through links. So let's say, when you have an email campaign, you're emailing people, you already have the email to people, so there's no point in asking the email. So you can just pass the email or pass like a user ID or like a customer like an order number or something like that. That will be tied to their responses, right? So you kind of know who answered what. You can use the response of the previous questions in the next questions. It's kind of like, the common one is like asking names, right? So if you like your name, and then you can refer, oh, hi, Felipe, or Felipe, in several other answers later. But it can be any kind of answer, right? Any answer you say, you kind of can refer that back. You can use images, videos. Videos are, YouTube videos, right? So if you just put the link on YouTube, it converts to the embedded YouTube link. You can add scores to different answers also. That can be used to create quizzes or just to have different scores for answers and doing different analytics later. And you have the answers being emailed back to the user who replies. So there's an option for that too. So I think that's it for that. And then I can kind of, if you have any questions, want to say anything, and or I can kind of jump in, kind of try to create an account and see.
Awesome. That's right. So that was a brief about what is Curious Karen. And yes, we want to keep our presentation short because we don't want to bore you with, these long presentations and neither long surveys. And that's why, yep, we want to make it as interactive as possible, as good as possible, and as interesting as possible. I mean, if you try Curious Can, you start feeling it like, oh my God, you start seeing it like, okay, It doesn't even feel like a survey, guys. And right now, let's make a survey. So Felipe, can you share your screen once again? And why don't you show them the dashboard and the demo of Curious Karen? Yes.
Wait, okay, yeah, you sure? Yeah, yeah. Okay, so let me show you now what the Curious Karen, right? So here is the website, right? So if you go there, you just have all the information. So there's two ways. Like, so you to try it out, actually, you can just create like right jump in, log in without even having to create an account. So then you can try it out, create the survey, and then if you like, you can create an account at the end to save everything. So what I did here, like if you go that get started link, you just have to put a little thing because of a lot of the bots keep creating things. And basically what happened here, it automatically created an account that's not saved yet, right? So if I decide not to use this account, it deletes the account and everything else in a couple of days. And then it also created my first survey here. So this dashboard that you see, it's already creating the setup of the first survey. What it does automatically creates two questions. So it creates the welcome question automatically, so which is this one here that you see, and the thank you question at the end. Right, and then you can keep adding your questions in between. So the welcome, or you can, if you don't want to have a welcome question, like a welcome message, you can just jump into the questions, right? So you can just remove them, by clicking here and removing. So first, let me see. So let me show you there's a couple of configurations here. If you click on this tab here to add the survey, you can actually put a title to the survey, right? So you can say, test survey.
Test survey for pitch grounders. Let's put it that way.
The what?
Test survey for pitch grounders. Because we're gonna just give it a live in this webinar. We're gonna share the link.
Okay.
Yes. GROUNDERs. Yes. Perfect.
You got what, pitch grounders?
Yes, I think it's pitch ground is enough. Yes.
Okay. Pitch ground. Yeah. So yeah, and then, so you can change the URL if you want, right?
Okay,
So
the plug as well. Nice.
So pitch test. I don't know if we created one already with that.
It's all right. We can use this. Yes, this is fun.
So so the other thing I want to show you, like there's different options here. So you can make the survey a little faster. So usually that's one of the feedbacks I got, like some of the conversation that goes, some people would think that was a little slow. So if you just tap here, you'll make it twice as fast. So it just kind of goes faster as a conversation. So we can allow that here. So you can allow multiple people to vote multiple times or just once. You can make the responses, people change the responses. So if once you answer, then you change your mind, or you click on the wrong button, you kind of go back. And you can have that email the responses to you, the user, right, when you create. So there's different configurations here, and that's the thing. Like every time, for every question or every thing, there is there's different configurations. For example, let's see what's in the configuration for the welcome. So the welcome, you can change that. Like, let's get started. You can change all the here, of course. Yeah, you can also make it faster, the bubbles. So there's a different thing. Because every line you put in here. So let's say welcome. My name is Felipe.
Awesome.
I'm in Canada, right? So yeah. Each of those lines, it will be like a conversation. Like, let me save, and then so you can see. So it'll be like this, right? If you make it faster here, like the fast bubbles, what it does, it combines all the first ones and just have the second ones.
I think it make it slower. I think it was adding a real conversation effect if it was slower. Yeah,
so it's just that's the thing that you kind of have to play around with it and see how, like, what it is for the survey and what you're trying to accomplish, right? Because sometimes when you put like several lines separate, you can have like one question being separate like this, but then when you come to the next one, then you can just put it all together. So you just kind of have to play around and see what how you want it to be. So let me create like a like start here, create one question, right? So let's say what do you prefer, right? Dogs or cats?
Yes.
I don't know. So let me go ahead and save that.
And next question we can ask is like, do you like pitch ground? Yes or no? Can we do that?
Do you like? Yeah. So let me show you another configuration here. Like, so when you go in this question, also you can do the fast bubbles, the option to skip the question, right? So if you don't want to make it required, so people can just skip it instead of having to answer something, you can put the orders, if you have several of them, automatically, alphabetical order, or always showing like a random orders to different users. The small talk, that's where it goes here that we talked about. So if somebody answers dog, you can say, me too. And if somebody answers cats, you can just say, okay.
I love it. All right.
So
That's fine.
that's how like we go. So let me we can add another question here, like a yes or no question, right? As you were saying. So it comes already pre-filled with yes or no. So do you like pitch ground, right? And then we can kind of go with that. So let me see, and then let's show you here a little bit. So you can do this test here that will open up, and you can kind of see what it looks like. So you see how it was kind of fast to me. That's actually fast, but because I put that fast mode, right? But some people seem that the other way was slow. So it's like, do you like dogs? So you can say, dogs. It's like me too, and then you like picture. So you see the small talk here. So you can kind of build it that way, and then you can see. So if I remove this option here, right? Let me show you it's faster, right? So this is the regular option. So you can see how the bubbles stay a little longer.
I love that.
So you think a little more, right? So it's
the regular one looks like as if we are having a real conversation,
Yeah, that's the thing. So
yeah.
And the speed also, it kind of increases automatically as the survey gets long, because if you in the beginning you like that slow, but then if you're answering more than 5 or 6 questions, or if you go more than 10 questions, then it can become a little slow to be waiting, but it automatically increases the speed as the survey gets longer. So it does that already.
That's intelligent.
But the other option is it just makes more. It's not like boom, 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 right? So it's not, but you still have the option of talking, but it's just a little faster. Oh, twice as fast actually. So let me see. So here also, let me show you this design panel here, right? So you can kind of customize the look and feel a little bit. So you can change the colors of the people that if you're asking the question, right? So and then the answers right on the other side. So you can change the colors here. So let's say green and blue. You can change the avatar here, right? So if you want another one, or if you want to add your own image, you can also do that. You can add social media links. So the social media links will show up on the side. So if I add one here, let's say twitter.com/Felipe, right? So I'm add this one. So it changes a little bit the layout of the survey. Did it add?
Did we save it?
Yeah, it's saved.
Yes.
Maybe it's only when it's published actually. Not the yeah. So let me publish here. So it doesn't. We can still continue to add it, but it will do.
All
so
right.
let me go back to the edit. So now it's just saved. So it means that the link is live.
Okay. So
well, so I have to check that. It was supposed to show the links on the side.
I think it comes not for the exact free plan where you can just make it randomly, but for the paid plan.
Yeah, it might be. Oh, yeah, right here. So it actually has that.
Great.
Yeah. So the links will show up here on the side. So it changes a little bit the design where you have the sidebar.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Awesome.
but you're right about the social media links is actually paid. So this account's not paid, right? So it shows for us only because you're we with the admin we editing it. But I think the live link would not show the social media link. So you can manage images here, so you can add images. So the way the images, for example, are handled, let me show you. So you actually would add the image to your to your collection here, and then you would use a link, right? So use this code here. That if you just click, it kind of copies to your clipboard, and then you can use that anywhere in the survey. So let's say here you want to say, welcome, and you want to put the image here. You put this, question mark and the image 14, right? So 114, which then you can use that like anywhere in the survey. You can use that as the questions. You can use that.
Oh wow! I can already see it making it more interactive. If I just show an image like "Hi" or something like that.
Yeah, so you don't have to kind of like and the images the way it's handled like this, so you don't have to add the images like in different places that you want it to be. You add them in this section here. That's your the image like management admin section, and then it would show up. And video is the same way. So videos, if you just embed like a YouTube video, so let's say we go to this question, and then you can actually just put the link to the YouTube, and then you convert that into a embedded YouTube.
Very interesting.
All right. So now, so now if you go to play it, right? So you would see the you see the questions and then the images, and then you can get started. Then we'll go with dogs this time, cats, and then you'll see the video here, right?
Yes.
So you can watch the video and then answering continues. So it kind of has that option like that.
Okay. I
so
think
the other
with
option,
this kind of survey, the customer would want to spend more time on the survey rather than just trying to get out with that mindset,
Yeah, that's the thing, because so when you building and then, you do spend some time and you kind of you're familiar and you're reading the whole thing, but when you actually see the survey for the first time and you're answering, right? So all you get is like, okay, you want to get started, right? And then you say like, oh, what do you prefer, right? So you kind of you kind of want to see like, okay, if I answer this, what's going to, especially like if you can play it around with the small talk and the conditional logic well enough that you can almost like entice them to be interested in seeing what else you were gonna ask, right? So you make a comment and it's like, what's the next one? So it almost feels like you have that feeling of I want to know more, right? And then by doing that, of course, is the whole goal is you're getting the feedback that you want, right? So the structure has to be a little different, so that there is a little bit of thinking in your part when you develop the survey. So it's not just a matter of copying what you used to have in a traditional survey that you put like, so it's not exactly like that. So you have to kind of to be more effective, do some thinking of and testing all the time, right? They have like playing, pretending you're looking at that the first time and seeing how you feel about does that entice you to answer more? Does it make it interesting, or and sometimes like you have to be careful not to overdo, right? Not put like small talk on everything, not use your the questions from before like all the time. This is actually that for example, like what I was gonna say. So let's say if you wanna let's add another question here. So I want to copy like the answers. So if I ask this question here, like what do you prefer, dogs or cats, right? And I want to say use your answer into my next question. All you do is copy this code here, answer 13.13.1. That, but if you just click on it, it copies to your, so you can and then you can use. So, and then if I go to another question, it doesn't have to be necessarily the exactly next question. It can be anywhere. And so let me do open questions. Like, so the answer will be, so this is the question for the dogs, right? So it's like, since you like, and then the answer for that one, what do you think about these or whatever, right? So this is an open question, right? Which I'll come back to it to explain. There's more options here, but let's say that. So it'd be like here. So you see, like, since you like blank, blah blah, right? So when we come back to try it out, so you see that. You get started, and it's, what do you prefer, dogs? And then me too, blah blah. And then do you like, there's another question not related, and then you say yes. And then, so since you like dogs, what do you think about this, right? So it kind of picks up your answer before. So that's another way also that you can kind of play around and then decide what to do.
Why don't you share this link?
So the link, so it would be like this.
Interesting.
So you share here on no, this is the private. Where do I share?
Yeah, you can share it to me on the private chat.
Okay.
Perfect. Guys, this is a live survey. We just created right in front of you, testing different options. I want you to check it out because we have just, kept it in the comments. As you can see here, it's curiouscannon.com/pitch test. It's on your screen right now, the survey which we just prepared. Why don't you go and check it out and try filling in some options?
And it works like so. So if somebody, like, we can still be adding the survey, and the survey can be live, right? So it doesn't affect. If I add more questions, people then later will see more questions.
Interesting.
And then the answers that they get, like, and if I delete the question, then you lose the answers. But so there's another option here, like let's see here, in the main survey options. Remember, we saw there was an option here to allow people to edit the responses. So if I click that, what happens now when you're looking at survey is that, so when you start, so let's say dogs, you actually have this arrow here now at the end. That will allow you to kind of go back and say, oh, actually, no, I don't, not dogs. So you erase it, and then you kind of go back to that question, and then you can kind of modify. And then you continue from where you left off. So you can kind of go like that.
Got it.
So that allows the user to modify their questions back and forth.
And where do you see the results?
So the results, so we'll go here. And,
we got 2 responses. Nice. Okay, oh, nice, interesting. So I think the cats.
So the results are,
but dogs must be someone else, and I love PG. Awesome. Who's that who commented? I love PG. That's awesome.
And you can see, like, the responses, like, in the text, like, from everybody, one of each, right, who is there.
Yes, so, guys, you can send in your responses. It's in the comment section. It's live. We can see all your responses. That's how the survey looks like. And it's not even a survey. It doesn't even feel like a survey. So why don't you just go to the link, which is curiouscarron.com/pitch test, and check it out right now. And we will see your results. In the last, form filling, which is, since you like answer this, what do you think about this? And just enter your name. I think we can
change that.
Change it to, what's your name? Yeah. That would be
So
awesome. Perfect.
and so for these type of questions, for example, so every question there's different options, right? So for the open question, it can be text like this, or you can change to be a number only, or phone numbers, or email addresses, or URL, right? And then you kind of force people to add it their way. And then for every question, it's default like required, right? Because you have to enter to continue, but you can also say like skip question, right? And then it's not required anymore. So when you say that, then you add a skip this question link below when it's displaying, and then people can just kind of move on without having to answer. The thank you question also, like for example, like all of them have different options, right? So the thank you question has the option to you can show the survey results right after, so people can see the survey results. It won't show any open question because people can answer, can put their names, emails, and stuff like that. So you only show the graphs kind of question, right? So the options that people choose. Or you can show like, and I can actually, and then you can also, if you want to link somebody to somewhere else at the end of the survey, it's like, oh, thank you, but then go visit us here or sign up for this or whatnot. You can do that. Or you can allow the user to reload the survey and then re-enter again and do it again. So for example, like let me change this to see the results, and then what they'll do is it will add the see results button at the end. And the only results that will show, which you can change to, is you will show like you'll show this answer here, right? It will show this one, but it will not show the open question, right? Because you ask names or personal thing. If you want to, then you have to manually. So by default, it won't. But if you want to, you can just do that, and then now it will show to anybody else.
Awesome. So, guys, I'm going to share my screen right now. That's how easy is this tool. And, I'm going to fill in the survey which was just created. And you're going to watch it live. And if you have the link, which is here, which is curiouscarrom.com/pitch test, you can fill in the survey too. And we can look at your results. So I'm going to be filling in the survey, and I'm going to be sharing my screen. Perfect. So I'll just go to the URL, which is curiouscarrom.com/pitch test. You can have it, which we just made. As you can see, it's just like a conversation bubble. So we click on get started. What do you prefer, cats or dogs? I'm a dog lover, so I just check dogs. Me too. Oh, that's nice. Do you like pitch ground? Oh yes, I love pitch ground. Since you like dogs, what's your name? My name is Minank. I just entered. Oh, that's nice. That is nice. Perfect. So, guys, this is how the survey looks like. It's just so simple. It felt like a conversation that we are having, it felt interactive. It was like a two-way thing. But if you use Google Forms, it's just the questions are just there, and it doesn't feel like you're having a conversation. It just feels monotonous, and you're answering a question which you don't know whether it will be looked by the team or not. But with this, your customer will get the confidence that, hey, I've never seen anything like this, and the customer just wants to go on, go on. Okay, what's going to come next? What's going to come next? It's just like, someone sends you a message and you want to reply to it. It's so simple, so cool. And what you just saw is a live demo of Curious Karen. We showed you how the surveys work, how the live demo looks like. We also showed you how, it works in real time. You can also change the slug. Let's say you have two different products that you're offering, and you can get surveys for two different products by creating two different links. It's that simple. And you are also getting a lifetime deal. The lifetime deal is just scrolling down below my name, here and Felipe's name. But let's look at the lifetime deal, what it is, and what's the value you're getting here. So this is the early bird offer, guys. And the early bird discount is ending in 1 day, 16 hours. That's so early. And you can grab Curious Karen for not $49, 59, 69, etc. It's just $39 for lifetime. Guys, let that sink in. Usually these kind of softwares, they cost around, $39 per month. Okay. And this is $39 lifetime deal. And it's currently on an early bird discount too. So if you're watching this and if 1 day, 16 hours is not over, you're in luck. Please go to pitchground.com/product/curious Karen and just grab the lifetime deal. With the $39 lifetime deal, you get these features: one account with 5 active surveys at a single time, and it can collect 5,000 responses. Guys, if you're a freelancer or if you're a solopreneur, I don't think you need these many responses. This is overkill. And you can do unlimited questions. Small talk, as we saw, is such an important feature for this tool, and you'll be getting small talk as well. Conditional logic, and you can add your logo, you can add your social media links. It's a paid feature, but you can get it for just $39 lifetime. And this is one of the most easiest tool that you will ever use. Guys, we want to make it as easy as possible to you and to your customer too. That's right. And if you don't like it, or if you think, okay, great, this plan is not enough, you can just upgrade to the $59 or the $125 plan or the agency plan, where you get 5 users and one white label URL as well, with unlimited active surveys, unlimited responses, unlimited questions. Wow. You can also remove the powered by, custom URL, etc. So guys, all these plans are discounted, as you can see here. This discount will go away after 1 day, 16 hours. Guys, you want this discount to stay. I mean, I would 100% grab if I'm just a normal person, I'll just grab the $125 plan. If I'm an agency, I would just grab the, $300 plan and go all with on my service, because I know for a fact that, one second, I won't be using Google Forms anymore after this for my surveys. I won't be using all the traditional enter your name and boring one directional surveys. The time has come, guys. This is 2021, and the feedback tool needs an innovation, and this is the innovation, guys. That it's a two-way survey. It's just like chat, and which doesn't even feel like a survey. I bet your customer has never gone through such kind of surveys. And that's why you need to get Curious Karen for yourself, for your business, so that your customer gives you the right feedback to improve your business. That's it for this webinar, guys. So Felipe, before we go, do you have any last words to say to pitch grounders?
So I would just say that, yeah, as you said, like we started like a few months ago, so we're still very new, so, which is great. That's why we are offering the lifetime discount, because we want people to come in and then contribute with different ideas that you have, different needs, and then, so we can learn how you're using and then so what else we can make to we can build to make the experience better. So in a way, like and I'm very responsive. So if you go on the website, there is always a little live chat that you can talk directly with me. So if you have any questions, suggestions, and things like that. So I think besides the good deal, would be a good idea to, especially if you have custom needs, like special ideas that you have. We're always open and eager to try those things out that you wouldn't see with any other tools out there. You have to use however they make it. So so we're very curious to learn, to see what people want, people need, and how they use.
Yes.
Curious, Karen.
Absolutely. Felipe and his team are very curious to know what you feel about
Yeah.
product. So use it on your business, send it to a customer as a test link. You can create it for free, send it to a customer, and guys, your customer won't even feel like, oh my God, is this a survey? And that's Curious Karen, guys.
Your customer
And that's Curious Karen, guys. Thank you so much for watching this webinar. And we have one more webinar coming up, which is 2 weeks from now. We're going to ask you then, have you created any surveys? Or what are the results from the surveys you have made? And we are also going to show you many different ways you can use Curious Karen in the webinars that we have planned for you guys. So thank you so much. And thank you, Felipe, for the presentation, for showing us around Curious Karen.
Yeah, sure. Thanks. Thank you all. Yep.
Awesome. Yeah.
think of your business, you would run a survey. But in fact, usually people are reluctant to spend even a few minutes to fill out a survey. Unless you offer them a super quick and well-designed survey so people will feel that you do care of them. Say hi to Curious Karen. Surveys that your customer will actually want to answer. This amazing app helps you to create nice and simple surveys literally in minutes. You start with a template. Surely you can change it. No special technical skills are needed, there's no rocket science here. The interface is so intuitive. Just start building your survey and you'll learn your way around pretty fast. You have different types of questions like multi-choice, yes or no, option scale, and so on. Curious Karen has an amazing feature to it. You can set up the logic of the whole survey. It works just like a mind map, so you can see the structure. Say if the answer is no, you can say, okay, thank you for your time. If the answer is yes, then you ask your next question. Another cool thing about Curious Karen is that small talk feature. These little cues after each answer help you to make it even more human-like, so your customer won't feel they talk to a robot. Tweak a design a little bit, add your avatar and logo, run a test just to make sure everything works fine, and publish it. There you go. Now you're ready to share it. All you have to do is just collect the results and make your business decisions. What else you can do with Curious Karen is create Net Promoter Score surveys just with few clicks. NPS is just a simple customer satisfaction survey to figure out how likely you are to recommend a service or a product to your friends or family. Just tweak it a little bit and you are ready to go. Finally, a survey that your customer would love. Build beautiful interactive survey in no time with Curious Karen. Get your lifetime deal now at pitchground.com.